I was born in the South, but I grew up in the North. I was born in Mississippi, and there was a great migration of black people leaving Mississippi going to Chicago, and my family was in that migration. And we had, at one time there were more black people living in Chicago than was left in Mississippi. That's how fast they were leaving. I saw the civil rights movement getting started, and I wanted to be a part of it. So I decided I would look for an opportunity to come south. And I did. Very small church, newly organized, and they called me as their pastor in Memphis, Tennessee. And when I announced that I was going to Memphis, my brothers in Chicago said, "Man, you must be crazy. Don't you know Chicago is the promised land for black people? You're already in the promised land. Why are you voluntarily going back to Egypt?" My mother said, "Go with God," and I went with God. I took my wife and 3 small children, and I moved to Memphis, Tennessee in 1959. Memphis, Tennessee, I moved to with my family. 1959. I keep repeating that because that was not that long ago. And I want the young people to know how quickly that time goes by. That was not that time. Everything in Memphis was segregated. There was not one thing integrated. Every single thing was segregated. From the cradle to the grave, in 1959 in Memphis, Tennessee, where I lived, everything was segregated. And I really never understood why graveyards had to be segregated, because dead people get along well. They don't bother nobody. I'm winding up now. I was arrested for sitting on the front of the bus in Memphis. Sitting on the front of the bus. Wasn't bothering anybody. Didn't have no fuzzy house shoes on. Didn't have no do-rag on. Didn't have no ghetto box. I was dressed like I'm dressed now. I sat behind the bus driver. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm sitting here." He says, "You know what the Jim Crow laws are. You can't sit there." I said, "Well, today I'm sitting here." He said, "I'm calling the police." I said, "Do what you have to do." So he parked the bus. The black people stayed on the bus. The white people got off. And while waiting for the police to come, and I did not bear the black people any ill will, they said to me very respectfully, "Reverend, why don't you come on back here where you belong so we can go to work?" So I went back there, not to keep from getting arrested. I went back there to have a civil rights meeting. I knew when they said, "Come on back here where you belong," they had lost their dream. And so I went to the back to help them recapture their dream. I said, "Do you see a steering wheel back here? Do you see brakes and all? The driving mechanism is in the front. We can do more than clean these buses. Our tax money helps to support them." I said, "Am I making sense?" They said, "Yes, Reverend, we'll wait." I said, "The possibility is that you go on to work. The possibility is I'll go to jail." And that's exactly what happened. They went to work and I went to jail. Now, that wasn't no long time ago. And I say that especially for the young people. That time went by so fast. It went by so fast. I mean, just so quick. But as I speak to you now, the chairman of the trustees board of the church where I'm the best pastor they ever had, the chairman of the trustees board is the general manager and president of the bus company that arrested me. My 5-year-old daughter, I shared this, and I'm honored that you remembered it, man. My 5-year-old daughter was one of 13 children to integrate the schools in Memphis. They'd never been integrated. The police came to my home that morning to escort us to school. We got to the school. It was completely surrounded with police. I got out of the car, and the policeman who escorted me to the school introduced me to the policeman in charge. I said, "Good morning, how are you?" He looked at my hand as if I had leprosy. He never touched my hand. He never acknowledged my presence, but he was there to protect us from the howling mob. Thankfully, the howling mob did not show up. The police turned out to be the mob. They said the nastiest things in front of me and my daughter as we walked up to the school. We got in the classroom. The teacher smelled her hair and rubbed her skin as if her blackness would come off. She got the lead role in the school play. The kids, first graders, all first graders, and they got to high school. And she got the lead role in the school play, female. The lead role, male, was white. The kids had no problem with it. They were making costumes, designing sets, and doing all that. They had no problem with it. But the Dreambuster teacher said, "Not on my watch." And she canceled the play. And my daughter cried, and she cried, and she cried. She said, "Daddy, I want to go to a black college. I'm sick of this." I said, "Darling, you can go to a black college as long as you realize when you get out of that college, the world will still be diverse, and you have to live in it."